Coming up on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. Grandma may have owned a Rambler, but I bet it didn't look like this.
I saw one at a car show years back, and I thought it'd be a neat little hot rod because nobody's ever done one.
This car brings up an obvious question.
I said, what's an Essex?
And shock, shock, it's not a Corvair.
He originally bought the car from this fella named Ralph Nader.
Plus,
nice clean part now, looks good, will look very nice with the red caliper, beautiful.
New brakes with a new look in under the hood. Think this is what Henry had in mind for an old Ford pickup?
That Corvette would spin the wheels right off of this thing.
Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte, starts right now. Hi everybody, welcome to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte. I'm Jeff Phelps and we are at the Hot Rod and Custom Show in the United States of America. It is the 14th PPG Good Guys Nationals in Columbus, Ohio. It's at the Ohio State Fairgrounds, the Ohio Expo Center. Unbelievable cars here all day long. In fact, the number's somewhere around 5,000 hot rods. So you better have some earplugs, and you better have some good shoes, and you better get moving. Don, when you're looking for a unique look, Don, yours has it.
Thank you.
It was a 1948 Chevrolet, just work truck, basically.
Correct.
Not anymore.
No. I've had the car 26 years, and it was a hot rod when I bought it. But I've reworked the car 4 times in 26 years. This paint job was done a year ago. The car was red for the first 25 years of my ownership, but I'm 65 years old, and I decided that at 65 I wanted to change the car one more time, and I wanted something that nobody else had. And between myself and my painter, we came up with this unique paint scheme. And actually, he kind of prompted me because it wasn't what I started out with at all.
What were you thinking? I
wanted a 2-tone paint job with some flames on it. But when he got it in primer, he called me up and he says, I'm an artist at heart. He says, and I really want to do something different. He said, I want to do something artistic. And he says, and this is a really big canvas. He said, let me do something different. So he urged me to give him some creative idea. And I said, well, I've always wanted a Woody, but I don't want a wooden car because they're too hard to take care of. So he said, well, I could probably make that look like a Woody. So he did some artist renderings and showed me his wood graining techniques, and I said, run with it. And 8 months later, this is what materialized. And it was a frustrating process for me because he had my car locked down for 8 months and I couldn't play with it.
Oh, Don, that's not good.
No, and I'm not a patient individual.
The paint job now is obviously the eye-catching part of this car, Don, but how about under the hood? How about other features that you like?
It's pretty much a basic Chevy 350 motor with a 350 transmission. There's nothing really exotic about it, and I don't want it to be exotic. It's a reliable car. If I was to break down along Interstate 70 going home, there's nothing that couldn't be fixed by any mechanic. I mean, there's no sophistication about it, and that's by design. I don't want it to be sophisticated. I want shade tree mechanics to understand it and fix it because that's what I am.
If you were looking for one last fling with this car, I think you came up with a great one.
Well, this has been for 26 years. Some guys like to go boating and some guys like to play golf or photography or what have you. This has been my baby, my passion for 26 years, and it will be till the day they put the urn with my ashes in the back of it and take me to my grave.
And you have a long history with your Studebaker. How far back?
We had since about 60.
Since 1960?
Yes.
And it's a 1954 Studebaker.
54, yes.
So 50 years.
Yeah, right.
What is the history?
Well, we bought it, my friend of mine named Paul Gallagher from Mansfield, Ohio. He originally bought the car from this fellow named Ralph Nader, which is
Ralph Nader.
Quite coincidental to buy a car from somebody named Ralph Nader. It should have been a Corvair, but it wasn't.
It adds to the story though, Frank, thank you.
And this Paul Gallagher always liked Studebakers. He had about 15 of them. And him and I have always talked about this car. It was going to be mine, you know, when he got older. And so he sold it to me, I don't know, about I'd say 6 or 7 years ago. And it needed a complete restoration as far as bringing it up to date and doing the paint and everything with the car. So we went ahead and spent about 2 years on the car. It's a very fun car to drive. It's got a 283 Chevy motor in it from '62, Power Glide transmission. Got 93 Bonneville 9-way power seats. It's got my original 1965 Corvette real knockoff wheels on the car, and we got a new interior put in it, and we put a great sound system in the car, and we got tri-power on the engine, and everything's kind of chromed up, and it's just like driving a brand new 54 Studebaker. It's got the look, but it's got the modern drivability.
Well, after a long history with a car, and you and Paul having ideas about it forever, what's it mean to you to see it sitting here like this?
Everything in the world. It's my whole life. I've owned about 350 cars in my lifetime, and I currently have 7 collector cars, and they all kind of look like this car right back here.
Paul's no longer with you, but what did he think about this?
Paul was so tickled to get somebody that's going to have it for the rest of their life, and Paul told me, I am so tickled that you carried on the history of this car, and you done all the things of the car that I wanted to do and was really not able to afford to do properly. So he was elated, and Paul passed away about 3 months ago.
But he saw the car, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it means a lot to me to have a friend and I own this car for all those years.
It's the kind of old car story we absolutely love.
And it was in the barn for 32 years.
A barn find brought to life hot rod style. Next on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
World-class collector vehicles. That's what RK Motors Charlotte is all about. The finest in classic, muscle, and high-performance automobiles. The design and excellence of the 1930s and 40s. The chrome of the 1950s. The muscle of the 1960s and 70s, and much more. RK Motors is the one-stop shop to sell your car, add a new prize to your collection, or restore an old friend to past glory. Learn more about RK Motors Charlotte at rkmotorscharlotte.com.
Now back to Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
You don't see many Ramblers that have been turned into hot rods, and that's what you guys did. Eric, you own it. Matt, you built it?
Yes.
How did that arrangement come about, Eric?
Well, I met Matt a while back. I did some artwork for him, and I knew he had a shop, and I had a little Rambler, and I saw some of the work he did, and I asked him if he wanted to kind of help me build a car, and it started small, like we just want to put a little V8 in it, and it kind of escalated.
Well, we just got together, put our heads together, and decided the engine we're going to use, and the stance, and the setup, and things like that.
You don't see a lot of guys your age driving around in a '62 Rambler, my friend.
No. Well, believe it or not, I actually sought it out. I saw one at a car show years back, and I thought it'd be a neat little hot rod because nobody's ever done one. And when I looked for one for a few years and finally found one, and then, so yeah, believe it or not, I actually looked for one.
So Matt, what did you do with this thing? What was your main inspiration?
Well, we liked the Hemi idea. We went with the older Hemi. And then from there on, we just basically gutted the car out and then just built the car around the engine, basically.
Part of my profession is doing art and design, so I actually did a series of drawings of the car, which kind of helped so we could kind of see what the car might look like and all that. But
you had the image in your head.
Yeah.
You put it on paper, and it served as a guide for the whole project?
Yeah, exactly.
How long did the restoration take, guys?
I think we're into 6 years, about 6 years.
A lot of reaction to it, yeah, all positive.
Yeah.
And getting good response.
Well, fellas, somebody's grandma is not real happy with you guys, but I think you're pretty happy with yourselves. Nice job.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Chuck, we've been walking around here all day today. I saw the name Essex on the front of a car, but it was a Ford earlier. Yours is the only Essex I have seen all day long, and I'll bet you get that at almost every show you go to.
Just about, yes.
How did you come to own a 1926 Essex?
A friend of mine lived next door to this gentleman out in Logan, Ohio, and he said he had this Essex. I said, what's an Essex? And so I went down, took a look at it, and it was sitting in a barn, and it was in the barn for 32 years.
It sat in a barn for 32 years?
32 years.
And this was how long ago, roughly, Chuck?
Well, 16 years ago.
Okay.
I had the car for 16 years. And a close friend and I, we took it, we started from the ground up, and this is what we come out with.
What did it look like when you purchased the car?
It was pretty well beat up, you know, dents in the, all over the place. No rust on the body, but it was dented up. So we hammered away at that for about 16 years.
And it was in a barn, so the dents were caused by what?
The horse. The horse kicked the quarter panels on both sides, or it caved in.
That's a different kind of horsepower than what we were hoping to talk about today, Chuck.
Definitely, definitely.
So where do you start a project like that? You don't know what an Essex is. You want to get a different look at it, a different feel for the car. What did you do?
We took the body off the frame. We had to take the motor out of it. They had the original motor in it. We had to take the motor out. We had to strip it down. And we started from scratch. And we built it from the ground right straight up. We took 4 inches out of the top, cut it, set it down, painted it, bumped it all out, put the 350 Chevrolet engine in it, 350 transmission, Ford rack and pinion front end, rear end.
What have you learned about Essex since you've owned an Essex?
This one here is a 1926 Essex. It's a rare car. I haven't seen a 26 Essex yet in 16 years.
This one's it?
I've seen 29s and 30s.
What's your favorite aspect of this car, Chuck? Tough one, huh? The work that went into it, the story behind it, or the final result? Or a combination of all of the above?
Well, all the work that we put into it, and my friend and I, all the work we stuck into it, it paid off. It was, we had hard times, you know, and working with it, but we got through it, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
And the results are fabulous.
I'm glad you enjoyed, you know, a piece of work.
We staked out your car for 45 minutes looking for you, Chuck, because we haven't seen an Essex before.
And I was about 2 minutes right across the road from you.
Yeah, well, it was nice waiting anyway because we were next to your car.
I'm glad you enjoyed looking at it.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for having the opportunity of putting it on your show.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing? Mike? Hey, Mike. Under the Hood is next on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
RK Motors Charlotte wants your classic car. Let our consignment professionals take the aggravation out of the selling process for you. With an established international customer base, the RK Motors Charlotte consignment program has a 90% sell-through rate. Our top-notch marketing efforts have led to an average sale time of 87 days. We do the work, we do the marketing, we sell your classic for you at maximum value. Visit our website at rkmotorscharlotte.com.
In our last episode of Under the Hood, Mike Velick, restoration manager at RK Motors Restoration, was halfway through a brake upgrade. What color will Mike paint his caliper? Will Nancy get back from the sandblaster in time with the caliper bracket? Will videographer Chris Madden stay on his feet through the entire episode? Find out now in Under the Hood.
Under the Hood is presented by RK Motors Charlotte, specializing in the sale, build, and restoration of world-class collector vehicles.
So now we're to a detail part. While waiting for my other bracket, I'm going to put some red paint on there to gussy it up. So before I throw some paint on here, these are aluminum, so they got a little bit of oxidation on there. I'll just take a little bit of scuff pad, clean a little bit of that oxidation off. Okay. I got some nice red paint, Chevy truck red here, and we're just gonna coat our caliper, make it look all nice. You could spray it, you could brush it, whatever works for you, you know. If I was doing a high-end show car, you're not gonna be doing it this way, but there's options, you know. Now we've got our paint on our caliper. Gussies it up a little bit. Nothing perfect, but enough to add a little bit of color in the wheel well there.
Does the job, and look who's back.
Absolutely. Thank you, dear. So Nancy's back with our bracket, and as you see, nicely blasted all up.
Good work, Nancy.
Thank you.
Perfect. Now it's ready for some paint. So now we'll just shoot a little bit of color on this for a little bit of rust protection, and it gives it a nice little offset to the red. Nice clean part now, looks good, will look very nice with the red caliper, beautiful. But here's one point where we have to pay a little bit of attention to, and that's for your slides. The brake slides here have to slide nice and freely so the caliper moves back and forth and will apply pressure evenly to both sides of the rotor. So they just fit right in, but you can feel it's not a real nice.
Grabbing a little bit.
So, you know, we make sure we clean everything up, and there's a brake lubricant. All it is like a silicone base lubricant. Put a little bit on that slide. This way it moves nice and freely in the hole. And it has this little rubber cap which clips into place, protects it, so you got movement now. You want to make sure you do that. That's a pretty important step, because if you don't, your brakes will wear unevenly. They'll just, you know, they won't move as smoothly, and you could get brake chatter, noise. There's a lot of little different things that can occur from not doing it properly. So it's just a nice little step that you don't want to neglect. Okay, now we're ready for install. Put on our rotor, our caliper bracket. We cleaned up our slides here, reinstall them before the pads. Keeps the pads moving nice and freely. Most pads will come with a squealer. That's that annoying little thing when they get down there low and you hear them ee.
How's that go again?
Ee.
Okay, good.
There's your little squealer. Make sure you always install them in properly, and always goes towards the back. That I've seen. You never know though, there's some crazy stuff out there. Put your clip in. That just holds the pressure down on the pads, keeps you in good shape. 2 more bolts. Now you're all set, you're ready to go. Here's a point where you've got everything mounted perfect. You'll see the little spots where you didn't get perfectly on your paint job. Now that it's mounted and in place, you can do a little touch-up before you make your final adjustment, put your rim on. And really overall it turned out nice, so I just had a couple little spots I wanted to give a little attention to. Here's another spot where you can take a little bit of time. From the years of built-up brake dust and road gunk and you name it, it's on there. So take a little bit of time, which I've already done here, showed you. And just clean the backside. You might want to scuff it up. And here I shot it with a nice dull aluminum, which would match the factory look of the wheel. So when you look through there, you see a much cleaner appearance than that. The wife being in the sticker business, of course, you know, I always gotta put a little bit of her work on it too. So here to dress up our final product here, we've got to put the old Camaro badge of honor on it.
That's beautiful.
And again, it's just a little detailed touch. There you go. Now we got the finished product. We can throw the wheel on, you can see what it actually looks like before and after. Much nicer appearing, and can't deny that it's a nice upgrade and much better appearance stress you up in functionality too.
Under the Hood is presented by RK Motors Charlotte, specializing in the sale, build, and restoration of world-class collector vehicles. Visit our website at rkmotorscharlotte.com. Automotive passion runs deep at RK Motors Restoration. Our master body, paint, and mechanical technicians have decades of award-winning experience restoring some of the world's finest collector cars. Flawless paint and bodywork, highly accurate interiors, engines that run better than new. Each restoration is completely documented and finished to award-winning Concours quality specifications. From project car to automotive perfection, visit rkmotorscharlotte.com to make it happen.
Now back to the Good Guys Nationals in Columbus on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.
Bob, old pickup trucks are cool. Old pickup trucks without real tops are even cooler and very rare. What exactly is this?
Well, it's a Roadster. They call it a Roadster pickup truck, okay? All a Roadster part means is it doesn't have a hard roof, that's all. California started it. The young kids out in California just started chopping the roofs off and left it as, well, they call it a Roadster or a highboy.
How did this one come to be yours, Bob?
Well, I met a fellow by the name of Carol Hamilton, retired space engineer at NASA, who was putting it together in his garage from the frame up. I met him at Daytona Car Show, and it caught my eye as soon as I started walking by it.
Congratulations, Todd.
All he wanted to know if I had enough money, and I did, so it's mine. And I'm 74 years old. I need a turnkey operation. I don't have that much time.
And there it is.
To fool around, and here it is.
What are your favorite things about the truck, Bob?
Well, I like the standard shift, which you don't see too much. It's a 5-speed standard, so it's a lot of fun driving it because you got a clutch here that you got to shift gears, and that makes it kind of fun. And then the second thing is that there's a ZZ4 Corvette engine in there, and this baby can really haul with the 5-speed. So
it gets up and down the road.
In fact, as an old man, though, I don't go overboard. You know, if I was a young kid, I don't think I'd buy this because the wheels aren't good enough for the engine that's in it. That Corvette would spin the wheels right off of this thing. A little bit something different. Instead of all the chrome, we decided that we'd powder coat some of the engine, and that gave it a special look to match the tires. Underneath is all powder coated, only that's in black instead of white. So
it's nice.
Did a super job.
So you keep your foot off the accelerator a little bit, drive it and have some fun.
That's it. That's it for the old man.
It looks great, Bob.
Yeah, I've had all the fun with the Army parachute team. I used to belong to the Golden Knights parachute team, and that was a different kind of rush.
That's enough thrill seeking, isn't it?
Yeah, that's enough.
That's
time to slow down a little bit.
Hey, we like your car. Nice stuff, guys. Just typical of the type of stuff we have seen here at the Good Guys Nationals in Columbus, Ohio. A great event each and every year. It is the show for hot rods and customs in the United States of America. I'm Jeff Phelps. We'll see you next time on Cruise In, presented by RK Motors Charlotte.